Welcome to the deep dive. You send us your sources, we dig through them, and basically pull out the most important stuff.
Exactly. It's kind of a shortcut to getting really well informed on, well, sometimes pretty complex topics. We do the sifting for you.
And today we've got some excerpts that are definitely unique. They came from a listener describing this alleged secret society in America. It's called The Silhouette.
Yeah, the material we received lays out quite a detailed picture. It talks about, their structure, their origins, supposedly very old, and who's supposedly running the show. It's more than just a casual mention, that's for sure.
So our goal here is to really unpack what these sources claim. What is the Silhouette supposed to be? What are they supposedly trying to do? And who are these figures pulling the strings? It looks like it's going to be quite a ride.
Okay, so let's start with the basic idea. The source material right away calls the Silhouette the unseen puppet masters of America. It even suggests the whole Illuminati thing is like just a distraction.
A distraction. So these guys are supposedly the real power behind the scenes.
That's the claim. Controlling government, media, the entertainment industry. Basically shaping the stories we hear, the things we believe.
Right, manipulating the public narrative. But interestingly, the source says it's not just about power for power's sake. Their stated mission is kind of protective.
Yeah, protecting American people, but not from, political enemies or foreign powers. We're talking about true horrors.
It's true horror.
Like eldritch gods, shadowy creatures, things from someplace called the Appalachian Containment Zone. Well, it's not your standard geopolitical threat.
Eldritch gods. Okay, yeah. Wow. So we're deep into cosmic horror territory based on this source. The idea being we couldn't handle the truth.
That seems to be the angle, that the average person just isn't equipped to deal with these kinds of existential threats. So the Silhouette acts like a shield, keeping it all hidden, a sort of secret guardianship.
A secret guardianship that also involves getting their hands on powerful occult artifacts. The source mentions that too, right?
It does. So there's this duality. On the one hand, they're supposedly protecting everyone. On the other, they're accumulating these powerful, possibly dangerous items for their own purposes. It's ambiguous.
Altruism mixed with maybe something else. And they keep to themselves mostly.
Very much so. The source says they're really reluctant to work with other secret groups. Only time they might cooperate is if, reality itself is on the line, suggests they're pretty confident in their own abilities. Or maybe just very paranoid.
Okay, so let's talk origins. This isn't some group formed in the 20th century, according to this document.
Oh, not at all. It traces them back to a rogue group of Templars in the New World. But even before that, it suggests ties to pre-dynastic Egypt. Nameless priests who saw the, quote, true nature of existence.
Pre-dynastic Egypt? That's thousands of years ago. That's an incredibly deep history they're claiming.
It definitely sets them apart from your usual conspiracy narrative. And their main base, supposedly hidden right under New York City.
Underneath NYC. Classic. The hidden power right beneath our feet.
Yeah, it fits the whole theme, doesn't it? They even have a symbol, the third eye, a pyramid with an eye and colors, dark navy blue and silver. Very specific branding.
Gives it a sense of deliberate design. So the structure, I mentioned a council, right? The wise men.
That's right. 3 high-ranking members who form a governing council. And above them, the ultimate boss, the Pyramidion. Described as faceless and absolute.
Faceless. That's creepy. Really emphasizes the whole hidden, untouchable power thing.
Definitely. And below this top leadership, you've got the different branches, the divisions that actually do things.
Okay, let's break this down. First is the media division. This is where the narrative control happens.
Exactly. Control over news, entertainment, social media, shaping what people think, guiding influencers who the source calls modern prophets or visionaries.
So if we connect that back to the protection mission, they might be using media control, not just for politics, but to stop us finding out about those eldritch things. Maybe using things like predictive programming.
That's a fascinating interpretation based on the text, yeah. Predictive programming is that idea you sometimes hear about, where media subtly plants ideas or prepares people for future events. The source implies they use techniques like that.
Okay, then there's the science division. This sounded like sci-fi meets something else.
Yeah, it's described as blending super advanced technology with occult knowledge, focusing on things like supernatural warfare, bio-occult sciences, even forbidden alchemy.
Bio-occult sciences, what does that even mean? Like mixing biology and magic?
The source doesn't elaborate much, but yeah, it suggests fusing life sciences with supernatural forces or energies. It implies their power isn't just political or informational, it's also grounded in some kind of tangible, maybe reality-bending tech.
Wow, okay. And the third division, military.
The military division, basically the enforcers, agents with top-tier combat skills, advanced weapons, and supernatural abilities.
Supernatural abilities. Where do they get these people?
Often recruited from elite military backgrounds, the source says, but then they're reshaped. That's the word used.
Reshaped. That sounds ominous. Like more than just training.
It really does. It suggests some fundamental change, maybe using those bio-occult sciences we just talked about, a deep level of intervention.
All right, so let's get to the people allegedly running these divisions. The wise men. 3 figures who fake their own deaths.
That's the claim. They engineered their public deaths to operate completely unseen. Architects of the shadows, masters of deception, all that.
And their identities, according to this source material.
Yeah.
This is where it gets really wild, doesn't it?
Yeah. To put it mildly, let's start with the head of the media division. Codename, Casper, the ghost who never died, supposedly. Tupac Shakur.
Wait, Tupac? The rapper. His assassination. Faked to join this group.
That's what the document alleges. As Casper, he supposedly has total control over mass media, deep ties in Hollywood and music, master of misinformation.
And didn't the source say something about conspiracy theories?
Yeah, it claims he knows all the major ones because he, quote, made them real. An absolutely staggering claim about controlling reality perception.
Okay, my mind is slightly blown already. Who's next? Science division head.
That would be Melchior, the alchemist of lightning, allegedly. Nikola Tesla.
Tesla.
Yeah.
An inventor, but he died in the 40s, supposedly broke and discredited.
The narrative here is that his public decline was a cover, that he wasn't forgotten, he was recruited by the Silhouette, absorbed into their structure.
So Tesla's genius, combined with occult knowledge and presumably huge resources, what's he supposedly doing?
Creating energy weapons, phase-shifting tech. The source mentions theories and devices messing with time and space, understanding the God particle, drawing energy from other dimensions, even designing secret power grids and radio signals to subconsciously influence people.
This is beyond conspiracy theory. This is like a whole alternate history built from it.
Yeah.
Okay, the third wise man, head of military.
Codename Balthazar, the General of Shadows, and the alleged identity. Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Ike. President Eisenhower, the 5-star general.
According to this source, yes. The story is that his experiences, maybe during his presidency with alleged UFOs or occult stuff, led to him being recruited after his retirement. Staged retirement, presumably.
So Eisenhower is running a secret army with, what, super soldiers?
Pretty much. Occult-augmented soldiers, the source calls them.
Yeah.
Interdimensional strike teams. Access to hidden bases like Area Zero. It also claims he was involved in a post-WWII occult arms race and something called Project Morningstar.
Project Morningstar.
An attempt, supposedly, to build a god-killing weapon.
A god-killing. Okay, so these 3, Tupac, Tesla, Eisenhower, as Casper Melchior, Balthazar the Wise Man, their motive isn't just power.
Not according to the source, no. It claims they know about some kind of impending apocalypse, some huge threat, and they see themselves as the only ones who can stop it, the last defense in a secret war.
Which makes them sound almost necessary. But the source also says they're ruthless, right?
Extremely. Explicitly says they are not heroes, willing to sacrifice millions, erase bloodlines, burn history, whatever it takes to maintain control and fight this secret war. It's presented as a grim, necessary evil.
Okay, so that's the council, but there's someone above them, the Pyramidian, the faithless ruler. Who is that supposed to be?
Well, brace yourself for the biggest twist in the source material. The Pyramidian is allegedly John F. Kennedy.
JFK, President Kennedy. His assassination wasn't real. It was a vanishing act.
That's the narrative presented, that his assassination was staged so he could take ultimate command of the Silhouette. His alias fits, the apex of power, the one who sees all.
So JFK saw these true horrors and decided the only way to protect humanity was to fake his death and become the ultimate secret ruler.
Essentially, yes. The grand architect, maintaining the illusion of normalcy while fighting cosmic threats from the deepest shadows. Chosen because he understood the darkness, maybe even embraced it.
What kind of power does he supposedly wield?
Absolute command over the whole organization, knowledge of every supernatural threat, access to reality-bending tech and relics, understanding the fundamental code of existence, bending global institutions to his will, knowing all the eldritch containment sites.
It sounds like borderline godhood. Does the source say anything about, like, immortality?
It hints at it. Rumors of him using ancient artifacts or even merging with some kind of great machine to gain incredible foresight, perhaps transcending mortality.
And he has some ultimate goal, the great work.
Yes, a very cryptic ultimate goal, tied to a prophecy about the veil between worlds tearing open. He's supposedly preparing for it, but nobody else knows the details, which the source dramatically concludes makes him the most dangerous man in existence.
Right, so let's just recap. We have this alleged secret society, the Silhouette, ancient origins, NYC base, weird symbol, 3 divisions, media run by Tupac, science by Tesla, military by Eisenhower, all faked their deaths.
Correct. They're called the Wise Men. Their mission, protect us from eldritch horrors using ruthless methods and occult power because they know annihilation is coming.
And overseeing it all, the ultimate leader, the Pyramidian, is John F. Kennedy, who faked his assassination to take charge and prepare for some unknown great work.
That's the picture painted by the source material we receive, from the structure and origins right up to the, frankly, astonishing claims about who's in charge.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the more elaborate and specific narrative we've encountered. So the final thought to leave people with.
Yeah, I mean, you have to ask, right? What if even a tiny piece of this was true? What kind of world are we actually living in if narratives like this exist, even as just elaborate fiction, let alone if there were hidden hands like these?
It really makes you think about hidden power, hidden knowledge, and maybe the fundamental nature of the reality we perceive. Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.